And Chris, welcome, sir.
Melody, thank you very much.
All right, talk about, and in a few seconds I'm going to play for you and have you react. I know you haven't heard it and I haven't heard it, but our great senior producer Rich got it for us. It just happened. Jay Carney weighed in on this. He was asked by Jonathan Karl about it. But give me your take on this. How big of a, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, of a smoking gun is this?
Well, it's the documentation that the people have been waiting for more than 19 months. We've 4 dead Americans, a national crisis really surrounding this, an embarrassment, a foreign policy failure, an administration that's lied repeatedly. And here's the absolute documentation. It's their records, remember. This is not something Judicial Watch went out and interviewed somebody and found. These are their records produced to us they're compelled by law through a lawsuit in federal court to produce these records to us. And it has their date time stamp. You can see who's writing to who and when. And this is their language. So, you know, people lie, records don't. And they can try and backpedal and spin, but this is what Ben Rhodes, and notably the brother of the head of CBS News, what he had to say. And they're trying to spin it. They're trying to create and manufacture.
So that's what I wanted to say. Ben Rhodes, who is the White House Deputy Strategic Communications Advisor, is the brother of the president of CBS News. And it's interesting that CBS News is the only one of the 3 networks who actually did a story on this. What exactly, who did he communicate these sentiments that the video, and I'm paraphrasing, that the video should be the focal point here? Who did he communicate that to?
There's about a dozen White House operatives of various levels and flavors.
Including Jay Carney, by the way.
Correct. So this is Rhodes trying to synchronize the message, get everybody on board. Everybody has their talking points. Literally, these are bullet points, right? These are talking points that he has formulated, and that he's trying to synchronize the political operatives in the White House with the state and get everybody singing from the same sheet of music. And we have contemporaneous emails that show the State Department people discussing, quote, the attack, close quote.
Right, and the CIA has said that they never blamed it, never told Susan Rice or anybody to blame it on a video. And again, the document lists as a goal, quote unquote, quote, to underscore that these protests are rooted in and it says but an internet video and not a broader failure of policy. I mean, that to me could not be clearer that, hey guys, here's how we save our butt, here's how we don't indict our policy, but we blame it on a video. It couldn't be clearer. Now, I'm as curious as you are to hear how this went with Jonathan Karl and Jay Carney. Let's roll that video, and we'll get your comment afterward.
This document was not about Benghazi.
It was her prep for the Sunday show.
It wasn't her only prep, John. She relied on for her answers on Benghazi on the document prepared by the CIA, as did members of Congress. The White House, rather, and others involved in her prep said when it comes to Benghazi, there's been a document prepared by the IC so that everybody is working off the same information. Republicans in Congress, Democrats in Congress, administration officials. This is what we know and what we are able to say about Benghazi at this time, and that's what she got.
All right, so he says it was not about Benghazi, and he went on to say that it was about the region, whatever the heck that means, and that you heard that Susan Rice. Did you hear the bite, by the way?
I did.
Okay, go ahead. So react.
Here's a reaction. He's a liar. Okay. Let me put it in plain terms everyone can understand. He's a liar. He's spinning and he's twisting and he's desperately backpedaling from documentary evidence that shows that a chief political operative inside the White House was trying to orchestrate a cover story, and now the cover's been blown, right? It's a cover-up, and the cover-up has been blown, and they're frantic. They're desperate.
Well, okay. Now let me ask you this, and I mean, you know, this is you've done your job. Judicial Watch has done its job. Tomorrow we have Lindsey Graham on this show, and I know he's going to have a lot to say about this. But I got to tell you, I hope this has legs. I hope that the Republicans make a big, huge deal about this. I may be out of the loop, but I haven't seen this today. I haven't seen the press conference. Maybe it's been had, and it's not been covered by, I tend to watch CNN and MSNBC during the course of the day so I could, see what they're covering. I haven't seen Boehner, McConnell, or the heads of the committees out there saying this is outrageous. This is, we need the president to weigh in on this. We need Hillary Clinton back. I just haven't seen it yet. And, of course, the media is not covering it in and of itself, as we documented only CBS. So it's incumbent upon the Republican politicians to make hay out of this, correct?
Correct. And unfortunately, when you can use air quotes when you say leader or leadership. There is no leadership in the House, certainly. In the Senate, there's people who are making noise, like Graham and Ayotte and others, but they're in a minority position, so they're basically, howling in the wind. They can't really
They can't convene. They can't convene or demand anything on a committee. Where Boehner, could and his committee chairman could do whatever the heck they want.
And Boehner is AWOL, and Rogers is already dead on arrival. Right? He's announced he's resigning. He's not going to make a run for re-election. He's not going to run for the open Senate seat in Michigan. He's going to go wander off into the dust somewhere. Who knows what's up with him? I have a lot of my own questions about exactly what the story is with his resignation from Congress.
Let me ask you a question. And do you believe that there's any connection between anything Rogers knows about Benghazi or anything to do with Benghazi and the resignation? Is that what you're implying?
I'm not entirely sure. I have more questions than answers, but I think it's just extraordinarily peculiar.
For instance, give me one question if you have one that you could share with me.
Why would a sitting House member with, I think he's in his, 12th term, in a position of enormous power and authority, heading up a committee that he is, just suddenly walk away? Supposedly the story is he has an exciting talk radio opportunity.
Yeah, with Cumulus.
Maybe he does. But to turn away from that and to turn away from a Senate seat that would arguably be his for the taking, it's just extraordinarily peculiar.
What kind of role, what might he be jogging away from? Any idea?
I don't know. I mean, I think a large part of the problem with the Gang of Eight or the Super Eight, the guys who are briefed on all of these clandestine operations that occurred, and of course there was a clandestine activity going on in Benghazi. That's why there was a CIA base there. And essentially it was an arms trafficking operation to Syria with Libyan weapons. But they're all briefed on this stuff, right? So they have guilty knowledge. They know more about what was going on in Libya and Benghazi in particular than they're willing to let on to the general public.
Do you think that plays a part in Boehner not wanting a select committee?
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. All right.
Undoubtedly so. Because look, Nancy Pelosi back in May of 2009, you'll recall.
We only got 10 seconds, so I will have to save that. But hey, listen, Chris, great work as usual for you and Judicial Watch, and we'll certainly keep up to date on this. And thank you for your time.
Great, thank you.
All right, Chris Farrell, ladies and gentlemen. Director of Investigations and Research for Judicial Watch. We're going to talk about this with the panel coming up. Don't miss it right here on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.